Just gonna do a quick mic test. Angela, I hope you can hear me. Just gonna test it out, so hopefully you can hear me.
Hello, we are here in Knoxville.
Coming back in. Mark. You all ready? Assistant Chief Ordner up here. Well, good morning, and thank you to everyone for joining us. My name is Scott Erland, and I'm Communications Manager for the Knoxville Police Department. We are really excited this morning to announce the appointment of the Knoxville Police Department's first ever Deputy Chief of Professional Standards. For those who need a bit of a refresher, Chief Paul Noel initiated the process of creating this first of its kind position for the KPD in late 2022. The position was then approved in 2 successive readings before Knoxville City Council and then finally by the Civil Service Merit Board last week. Today we are happy to introduce you to the person who has been appointed to that position, Brooklyn Belk. We, of course, appreciate Mayor India Kincannon for joining us for today's announcement and for blessing this appointment. For the run of show today, Mayor Kincannon, Chief Noel, and Brooklyn will each say a few words, and that will conclude the news conference. Chief Noel Kincannon will then be available for interview following the news conference. With that, Mayor Kincannon will get us started. Mayor Kincannon, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, everyone, for being here. This is a big announcement for our city, and one that will help with our continued focus on accountability and transparency. While this position is new for the city of Knoxville, adding a Deputy Chief of Professional Standards is not a new concept. In fact, the Metro Nashville Police Department has had a similar position for almost 20 years. Brooklyn Belk is an accomplished lawyer with an impressive resume that will help us not just achieve our goals and standards, but exceed them. Chief Noel will dive more into her background in just a few minutes, and I simply want to say thank you for joining our team. I also take a minute to recognize members of City Council. I don't know if any of you are here today. Raise your hands if you are. They may not have been able to join us this morning, but City Council approved this request for a new position because they also support our goals for accountability and transparency. So I want to say thank you to City Council. And finally, I want to thank Chief Noel for your forward thinking and quick action. You have accomplished so much in your first 8 months, including asking for this first ever position. And then, once you got the position, you took the time and saw an amazing candidate to fill this role. So without further ado, let me turn things over to Chief Paul Noel.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for your leadership on this. Without your help, this would not have been possible, so thank you. So I am honored and privileged to announce that I've appointed Brooklyn Belk to be our department's first Deputy Chief of Professional Standards. The role that Brooklyn is preparing to step into is a big piece of my vision for our department. Since day one, I've spoken about building a culture of accountability and fighting crime through means that are both moral, legal, and ethical. To what end, our department will benefit greatly from having a member of our command staff with a different perspective who is responsible for evaluating all of our policies, procedures, practices, and training on a daily basis. When I started the process and began looking for potential candidates, Brooklyn emerged. She had every single one of the credentials and requirements that I was looking for. Brooklyn and I have spent a lot of time together, and it became almost immediate that she was the right person at the right time for this job. Her resume speaks for itself. She has a wide range of legal justice experience, deep knowledge of constitutional law, and most importantly, a high ethical standard, which will make her perfect for this job. She spent the better part of a decade as an assistant United States attorney and also spent time as a trial attorney with the Department of Justice. Needless to say, she's working in a high-stakes, high-pressure environment, so that's why we know she's going to fit in well here. She also has significant local ties, and she served as a visiting criminal and litigation professional at the University of Tennessee College of Law. She's also served as an in-house, and she is a subject matter in multiple criminal justice arenas, and she's made national speaking appearances, been published in numerous well-known legal publications. Her credentials alone make a great fit for this job, but it's her character that will help her be most successful in her new role at KPD. She's detail-oriented, and she thinks through problems very carefully and critically. And it's proven that she has the knowledge and ability to build systems that are not only equitable, but fair and just. She's a natural leader who will win the trust of the members of our department and members of our community. I appreciate Brooklyn for accepting the challenge of this new position and taking a leap of faith, trusting us with this role. And I am super excited to have her join our team and help us continue in this process to make the Knoxville Police Department the best that it could possibly be. So I'm going to stop talking and turn it over to your new Deputy Chief of Professional Standards, Brooklyn Belk.
Thank you. I am Brooklyn Sawyers Belk, your newest Deputy Chief. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief. Thank you to everyone who's here today. First, giving honor to God. Next, acknowledging my family, my partner, Lamont Belk. He's more than a spouse, but a helpmate that is responsible for helping me be here today. Thank you so much. Our three children, a senior at the University of Tennessee. We're very proud of her. And if WAE is here, her singular goal while interning for you is to have Tirsa Smith say hi. So please tell Tirsa to say hello to our daughter. And we have two little boys, Joseph and Joshua. They're all boy all the time. They may take over the press conference at any moment, so you may get to know them better. There's a number of people that I would like to say thank you to, but I'm going to focus on just a couple here and thank everyone else in a more private setting later. I want to start by acknowledging former United States District Court Judge, Pamela L. Reeves. She passed away a couple of years ago, but she was the first federal female judge in this district, and when she died, she was Chief Judge. She was a dear friend and mentor to me, and I know it's because of her support and faith in me that I am standing here now. So I want to acknowledge her publicly, and in her absence, I want to acknowledge our city attorney, Charles Swanson. I also want to mention my dear friend Steve Cook, former advisor to the United States Attorney General, former federal prosecutor with whom I tried cases, and a former Knoxville Police Department officer. I thank Steve for all that you've done to help this moment be possible. There are a number of other individuals that are too numerous to name, so I'm going to move to a couple of institutional mentors that I have to acknowledge. The first is Mount Zion Baptist Church. Thank Bishop for being here. Thank you to you and our First Lady for all your support and prayers. I want to thank Emory and Henry College President Dr. John Wells here. Thank you for your support and for being here today. I'm a proud alum of Emory and Henry College, one of the best liberal arts colleges in the country. A number of eminent people from our community attended Emory and Henry. The Honorable Jill McCook, who served on our federal bench, the famed defense attorney Jonathan Cooper, and many others. I also want to thank the University of Tennessee. That resonates with many of you. Most of us bleed orange. Thank you to the alumni board for excusing me to rush down here from campus this morning and leave the board meeting. But my heart really rests across the street at the College of Law. We have Dean Lonnie Brown, who's one of the foremost legal scholars in the country, leading us. His Associate Dean Paula Schiffer, I believe, is here today, and a number of other scholars from the law school are here. Thank you for your support and allowing me to work with you and learn from you. I also want to mention the Knoxville Bar Association. The lawyers and judges in the room know the Knoxville Bar well, but many of you don't. It brings lawyers and judges together to do important work for this community, and gathering all of us together is no easy. So I want to say thank you to the KBA, who's represented today by Marshall Watson. Thank you for all you've done for me. The chief asked me to tell you a little bit about who I am, so I'm going to go through a little bit about the work that I've done for my career. This feels like coming home. I say that I have worked with law enforcement throughout my career. As a federal prosecutor, I worked with the Knoxville Police Department doing new officer training. It was a delight to see them embark upon this important career. With the Tennessee Highway Patrol, traveling from Knoxville to Nashville to do in-service training for our troopers. For the International Narcotics Interdiction Association, traveling around the country every year to provide cutting-edge training to officers around the world. Working at the Department of Justice, our seat of government in Washington, D.C., as a trial attorney, working with some of the most sophisticated technology we have in this country, electronic surveillance, working with prosecutors from all around the nation, people like AUSA Chris Gravlin, working on bringing of the Sinaloa drug cartel from Mexico, trafficking drugs into our country. I use that case as an example because you may be familiar with that case. Leo Sharp was a drug mule, 87 years old, and through the electronic surveillance evidence we gathered in that case, we were able to take him down, and of course it became part of a major New York Times story and the movie, The Mule. I offer you those specific examples just to highlight some of the work I've done with law enforcement over my career, and in this position, I intend to continue to do that work, partnering with the men and women who wear the uniform every day. I want to also just mention quickly, as the chief noted, that I've spent much of my career in education as a professor, teaching criminal law and constitutional law and other subjects, and that has been a highlight of my career, and I intend to bring there in this position. I want to leave you with this. To whom much is given, much is required. And when I think about the Knoxville Police Department, that adage comes to mind. When I think about the mission of KPD, safeguarding the public and preventing crime, and vision that with the prevention of crime being the most important duty of a police officer, that they must direct their efforts constantly at that object, being assured that the best evidence of a job well done by any police officer is not in the number of arrests, but they're in the absence of crime. Well, what does that mean from a practical perspective, and how will it relate to my duties and responsibilities? It's finding the humanity in every member of this community, those who wear the uniform and those who do not. The citizens of Knoxville deserve a force that is unfailingly respectful of the enormous responsibility that comes with the exercise of police power, seeing the humanity in each and every member of this community. But likewise, equally as important, our police force deserves a community that is just respectful of the law and of the enormous weight and responsibility that comes with wearing the uniform and carrying the gun. The risk that law enforcement officers voluntarily face every single day doing the hard and often thankless job of policing to make Knoxville one of the safest cities in America. As an attorney who is also a woman, a mother, and a citizen, my commitment to the mayor, the chief, and the city of Knoxville is that I will prioritize and see both those who wear the uniform, carry the gun, and take the oath to protect and serve equally, and as well as those ordinary citizens who do not, those who expect to be protected and serve, have their constitutional rights to liberty and the equal and timely justice honored without fear or favor, without ill will or malice, who expect service worthy of the public trust. I view this position in that way because I realize and offer to you that our destinies and the legacy that we will leave behind as leaders in this community are inextricably intertwined, community and officer. Thank you, and God bless the city of Knoxville.
Thank you, Brooklyn. Deputy Chief Belk's first day on the job will be Monday, so she gets started right off the bat here. Over the next couple of weeks, she's going to be spending a lot of time getting to know our department and the men and women of our department, many who are here today as well. And we look forward to all of you getting to know her better over the coming weeks as well. Chief Noel will be available for interview here in just a few minutes, as well as Mayor Kincannon. Thank you for being here this morning. That concludes today's news conference.
There's gonna be stuff coming at you tonight. There's no big one to like not being reactive. You're ready.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Go. Really.
How long was it?
I don't know.
Let's time.
He was right at the limit. Right at the.
No,
Right
that
at the
was
limit.
just the right amount of time.
No, it was good.
Did Tony prep you on your?
No, he did not.
You screwed up with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know if there are any questions, maybe not.